Man, how about that timing with the countdown song and then letting it go right into the boarding complete sign? Man, that was pretty rare. I'm going to have to take note of how I did that so I can repeat that. That was pretty good timing there. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Another live stream here coming at you on a frigid polar region of North Texas. It is currently -5 degrees Celsius, 22 degrees Fahrenheit. There are icicles off of my eaves right now. My driveway is frozen solid. It's a skating rink, and I have a gravel driveway too, so it's not even like concrete. It's froze over the gravel. It is an absolute mess. So it's been crazy. I've been trying to figure out when I can get the internet working. The power is in and out, so if the stream just goes dark, send up a prayer for me because I'm hoping my computer doesn't explode. There's some branches, so what's happening is all the sleet has collected on the trees, and the trees hang down low, and now we're getting a little bit of wind, so when they hit the power line, sometimes you get power flickers, but I've put my PC on a power box, so even if the power goes out, the PC still stays on, same with the Wi-Fi, as long as the power comes back on within a couple of minutes, we should be good. So that's why I shortened this route up today. I also started the stream early because this afternoon, I have some things to do. I got to go get some gas for the generator. I got to prepare. It's going to be 0 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like what, -17 or something? What is that? What is 0 Fahrenheit here this weekend? So I can only imagine it's going to get worse. And having an infant, we have to be prepared for all of the above. So I got some preparations to do this afternoon when the roads thaw out, if that is in fact that they do. So thank you for joining me early here, guys. We are going to try to get this show on the road. We have moved the departure airport to New Orleans, Louisiana. Like I said, that'll shorten up the flight a little bit, minimize opportunity for things to get screwed up here on our stream today. But right now, internet is doing well. We are in the Flight Factor A320, the latest update, and we have indeed put the Matavia mod on. So a lot of you guys were asking about the Matavia mod. Does it work with this? And you're having issues with it. I'll show you what I did here real quick. During our flight over there. But yes, the Matavia mod does work, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Rob C. coming in with a gigantuan dono. Rob C., my friend, dude, thank you so much. Guys, if you remember, hit positive rate in chat for Rob C. Rob, I don't even have, you don't even have a message with that. I can't even... I can't even express my gratitude for that. I mean, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that huge dono. Like I said, I didn't see a message attached to it, so if you were trying to say something, I apologize. I don't see anything there in the chat box. But again, Rob, thank you so much for your support on the channel, dude. That is a huge contribution. Really appreciate it, man. That will allow me to get another power box so I can keep a couple other items here running for future streams in adverse conditions. But Rob, again, salute you, sir. Thank you very much. All right, guys, let's hop into this cockpit. We are completely cold and dark, and yes, we do have the Matavia mod, so I wanted to test out this airplane here with the Matavia mod and the BSS Soundpack since it's been updated to make sure everything does work. And in fact, sitting at the gate right now, I'm getting 22 FPS while streaming. Without streaming, I did a little flight yesterday after we couldn't stream, and I was averaging about 30 FPS on the ground with the Matavia mod. So honestly, I can't tell if there's a lot of difference. I think there is a small difference in performance. Not huge on my system. I haven't really been crippled by the Flight Factor's performance because I do have a pretty beefy CPU. The GPU does take a hit. It runs my GPU at about 98%. But so far, we'll see a little bit more up in cruise here when we get going of how the performance has changed. And I'm sure the Matavia mod doesn't really help the performance. If anything, it makes it a little bit worse. So anyway, we got our batteries on. We'll go ahead and connect the external power. We are completely cold and dark here. Let me turn up the sounds a little bit. And there we go. That should be good. So we got our sounds on. One thing I noticed is, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know. It seems like, I know you guys are seeing this in 720p, but maybe on your own monitors of your Flight Factor, it looks like the text and the lighting of the words on the overhead and the cockpit, they seem a little bit fuzzy to me. I don't know why. It probably looks fuzzy on stream in addition to the 720p stream, but even on my computer running in full 1080p, I felt like it used to look sharper than that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the overhead set up here. Ground cruise supply can come on. Ground control push button can come on. Let's get the nav light on into position 1. We'll leave everything else off for now as we're going to get the airplane fully ready to go. We are, like I said, shortening up the route of flight, so we're going to come down here, do a quick initialization here. We're going to be departing from MSY to Tampa, to DFW. Probably going to be using the anti-ice on the Airbus today. So we got Tampa, DFW. We are operating this as NKS 813. That was going to be our flight last night. We're going to rock this at cost index 75, cruise altitude of 300. Hopefully we can get up there in time. It's a little bit high. And we'll go ahead and confirm the align on ref. All right, flight plan departure off MSY. Right now, what do we have for temperature? Oh, I'm sorry, wind. 6,500 rogue, 8,500 overcast, visibility 9, rain, wind 150 at 7. So 150 at 7, that is probably going to lead us to depart. 10.9 page right here. Let's see. But you can see, right, so looking down, I've noticed this. When I'm not looking at the screens, look, I've jumped 10 frames, not looking at the PFD and ND. So I don't know if that's a Matavia mod thing. I probably should have tried this out default. I will have to reinstall the airplane and just leave it default. I slapped the Matavia mod on there right away. But yeah, 33 FPS when I'm not looking forward. But let's see, if I look forward here, look, the FPS drops. And I think it has to do with the screens. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can report back. So 1.5, we're probably going to take 1.1 then. Let's just we'll blast off of 1.1. There is no sit out of here, which is kind of crazy. It is a radar vector. Out to Alexandria, and then Peanuts for the whiny arrival. Insert that into DFW. Turn off the rain effect, and we'll boost the FPS. I think I have the rain effect off. Let me just confirm that. I'm pretty sure I do. Yes, rain effect off, because I am streaming, and sometimes on VATSIM I think it will drop me below 20. So I do have the rain effect off, but we're rocking pretty good here. DFW, I have no idea what they're going to be landing. They're going to be landing cold is what they're landing. Let's see here. I live north of DFW too, so right now it's -4 down at the airport. Let's see, 350 at 1.5, so we're going to be north flow today. We're going to get 3.5 center. ILS 3.5 center. We're probably actually going to need to fly the ILS as well. And we said we were on the whiny, right? Yes, we are on the whiny 4 transition. So I got to do this thing. That's weird. You got to come back in here. Arrival. There we go. Peanuts transition. That still hasn't been fixed. Interesting enough. To pull up the arrival insert. Now we got a double Peanuts, so we'll get rid of that, and then we'll get rid of the disco. So again, they still haven't fixed that, where if you load an arrival here in your box, I should be able to just arrow right to this page right here and select the transition. But when you first load the arrival, you can't do it. It's a bug. It's been that way for a long time, and it hasn't been fixed. But you have to insert it without a transition and then go back to your flight plan and then reinsert it again. So anyway. Let's see here. So we got that set flight plan. Secondary, we'll do a quick secondary MSY to MSY in case we pop one. We got to come back around. But see, even the McDo keys look less sharp to me. I don't know, like this looks fine up here, but like this looks blurry. Have you guys noticed that? Let me know in chat if you've noticed that. Because it seems interesting that I have that now. I never noticed that before. I always personally thought that the flight factor looked better and a little bit sharper than the TOLUS, but I can tell you right now that this McDo does not look as sharp as the TOLUS, and I haven't changed anything settings-wise. Secondary RadNav page, we're not going to hard tune anything. Init B, this is where we do have to set up here. Let's come over to the EFB. Cargo, we'll set up, that looks fine, we'll set that, and we'll go ahead and remove the cargo there. As far as passengers, what the heck, let's take a full load. What do you say? Let's just take a full load at 320. We'll just go full, set that. As far as fuel, we needed 9.2 from Tampa. We probably need significantly less. We'll take 7.2. We do have an alternate of Oklahoma City in there. We'll set 7.2. We'll pull the fuel truck, and that looks good. As far as perf data goes, up 0.5 on the trim. That looks good. So let me go weight request here. 7.2, 54.5, 26.6. 26.6, that looks good. So our init B is set. Now that we've got that done, let's go ahead and get our fuel pumps on, fire up the APU, and then I'll be able to get back to the chat here. And then I'll talk to you about the Matavia mod and what I did a little bit, I wouldn't say differently, just, what was the meter again? 2.9 or 9 or 6. And we are still waiting to align. We got 1 minute to go on the alignment. All right, we'll go ahead and listen to the BSS. We are running BSS as well, of course. Carta, yeah, sorry, man. I had to pop it off early today. Just wanted to make sure I got the stream started before the internet catastrophically failed. Neil says, let's just say the flight factor is a future hardware proof. You got it, man. Good evening from Gibraltar, yeah. Ed, what's going on, man? Glad to see you on the live stream, my friend. Ed, I really appreciate your help in the Discord, man. If you guys aren't already, we do have a Discord channel, and we got a lot of good guys in there. Wow, that's pretty loud on the APU. We got a lot of good guys in the Discord channel that can help you out. We got an air traffic controller in there. We've got a couple of real life A320 pilots such as Ed. I know he helps out a lot of guys in there as well. So glad to see you in the chat, man. Again, I appreciate everything you do in the Discord, hanging around, answering questions. I read your question that you answered today about the ILS minimums and the Cat 3B and all that. Awesome stuff. I do have a question for you, Ed. In Europe, I don't know if this is just an FAA thing here in the States, but they are changing everything in the U.S. now to be, instead of Cat 3 A, B, and C, we have two categories of Cat 3 fail operational and fail passive. I'm just curious if you've even heard of those terms, if that's something that's going to be changing as a whole, or if that's just something the FAA's kind of switched over to here. And from what I gather, they're going to be removing the Cat 3 B, C stuff terminology from the charts in the future anyway. But I mean, the FAA drags its feet all the time, so I don't know how long that will take. But anyway, Carta, how are the frames right now? I'm rocking 28 frames. So let me tell you something real quick here about the airplane. So when I went to update my flight factor, it started hanging, and I canceled it. I re-updated it. Then I said, you know what? This is a new update. It's been a while since we've flown it. So I completely deleted my flight factor 320 and just re-downloaded a fresh one off the org store. So I had 22 gigs of flight factor Airbuses because I've had, you know, a couple different versions. I copy and paste it, one for the Neo mod, one for Matavia mod, one for the IAE mod. So what I did is I just deleted all of them, started fresh, got a brand new Flight Factor 320 off of the org store download page from your account. And then I went over to the Matavia mod website and I downloaded, I wanted to get a livery that had the Matavia already on it. Spirit was, I think, one of the only ones in America that had one. So I downloaded the Spirit livery, and then I just downloaded the IAE mod and the base Matavia mod. And it makes it really easy to do. Let me see if I can get a link for you guys. Let me get a link for you here. Matavia Mod 320. This whole website has everything that you need right here. It's all laid out. A simple Google search would have worked for you guys as well, but since I'm feeling extra generous this morning, let me go ahead and get a link for you here. So right here, here's the link. If you go to this website, that will give you everything Matavia Mod that you need. And mods, feel free to copy that link and paste it throughout. But essentially, I just downloaded the IA engine mod and the base mod that is required from the Matavia mod website, and then I just picked a pre-modded livery. Spirit was one of them on there, so that's why we're rocking the Spirit Banana today. Plus a little yellow, brighten up these gloomy skies around here. And I did pick the dirty texture, and look at this airplane, does look dirty. It looks like it's been out in the desert for a while, and they just started running them again. So that's a little bit about the Matavia mod. I haven't had any issues with gray screens or anything like that. I know some of you said there were some gray screen issues, but I haven't had any with the Matavia mod thus far. But what I can tell you is look at the frames here. When I look forward, we're at 23, 22, and then look, I'll go to the overhead view, or let's say we'll go down here to the pedestal, and it shoots up to 30 plus. Now, we'll test this again in cruise. Maybe it's the terminal. I don't think so, but we'll test it up in cruise here a little bit. Anyway, we got everything set there. Perf data. We're going to do 142, 144, whoa, with the zoom. 147. Oh, you know what? It's my joystick. 147. Flaps 1, yoga. And we do have to have anti-ice on today, so we're going to be running that. Perf data is set. A NIT B. We did a NIT B, right? Yes, we did do a NIT B. We got an hour 25 extra. I forgot to put in our alternate there, KOKC. Hopefully we don't have to go to our alternate today. What's that going to do to our fuel plan here? Uh, 125. Alternate time is still loading that. Interesting. I feel like it should populate the alternate fuel time in there. What's up with that? With just a direct line, so it should populate that. We'll see what it does after engine start. I kind of want to see what happens. This should be populated here. Anyway, everything else is set up. Perf data is ready to go. Flaps 1. Let's start closing up doors. We'll run a couple checklists and get out of here. APU is on, right? So we no longer need ground power. Let me confirm that. I'll go ahead and switch over. Green on green means you're good to go. So we'll go ahead and pull the ground power now. Ground power off. Fuel has been removed. Let's close up the doors. You can hear the packs. We love the BSS Soundpack. Closing up the doors now. Beacon light can come on. We're going up to flight level 300 from the get-go today. No ATC. It will be a radar vector on the partial. I'll just give myself a radar vector. Let me just make sure there is no ATC online. That is good. Carter says, did you do any update after doing a fresh download? I know it's beta. You have to do the update with beta tick to get it. Carter, yeah. So that's, yeah, I left that part out. Yeah, did a fresh update, or did a fresh download, did the update to beta, installed the Matavia mod, and I haven't had any issues yet, but I do have that weird looking forward frame issue. Frank Bite says the extra fuel calculator is completely wrong, but exists since 3 years. Yeah, I've kind of given up hopes on the fuel predict page. JetBlue671, what's up, man? He says, if I'm being honest, I do not believe you have the new update. The only way you can get the new update is by the X updater and selecting beta. Right. Yeah, I did the new update after downloading a fresh 321, or 320, I should say, because we're on a 320. Constraint. And let's push back, get out of here. But that's what I was saying, is I tried to do the update initially, and it would just hang at the very end. It would get all the way done, and then it would just hang, and I didn't know if it was completed or not.
Hey, Captain, let me know where you want this thing.
All right, we're actually going to push back all the way into the alley here. But yeah, it would hang at the very end. It would say 0 bytes to transfer or whatever. And
great news, Captain. Your toe's coming.
So I deleted all of them, re-downloaded it, update to beta, and then go from there. Let's get rid of the, we'll hide all those guys. They're all off there. That's off. Beacon light is on. Pumps are on. Ready to go. We're in it. That is good. We'll put you on the flight plan page. 4.2. Up to 300. I think we're ready to go.
Evacuation slides to use in an emergency. When directed to exit, jump onto the slide and move away from the airplane.
Oh, the gray screens come up with the rain effect? Alright, so maybe if you have an issue with gray screens, maybe you need to turn the rain effect off. I've turned that off from the beginning because I knew that would impact frames. I actually had that issue before.
Alright, looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
So if you're having a gray screen issue, maybe it is indeed the rain effect in the EFB that you want to turn off.
Follow the lights until you've reached your exit. Leave all carry-ons behind. Just head quickly and safely to the nearest exit. And don't forget, it may be behind you.
Hung Start says, I've not flown this bird in 2 years. This has improved a lot. I would not say a lot, no. It's improved some. And we're just getting little minimal things now that, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. It's a beautiful airplane, I will tell you that. But in my opinion, I think it looks, Ed said it looks more blurry. Carta, did you notice blurry cockpit textures after the update as well?
Welcome aboard, Captain. Toes connected, bypass pins inserted. Go ahead and kill the parking brake when you're ready to
Eduardo
go.
says, Matavia main mod broke my aircraft. I don't know why. I just can use the light mod and the cockpit colors. Interesting. So I don't have the light mod installed on this one. I haven't done that yet. All right, brakes are released. You're clear to push.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
We'll wait till we clear the ramp here, or clear the baggage car here, and then we'll turn one. Yeah, Dreamlist, I agree. So yeah, it's in 720p, but I'm telling you guys I'm running 1080p my monitor, and I can tell you when I got in this airplane, the textures were not as crisp as I'm used to. Now that could be a Matavia thing. I I'll be honest with you, I didn't even really look around the airplane plain default. I downloaded it, updated it, and put the Matavia mod on, or I activated it and then I put the Matavia mod on. So what I will do this weekend is I'll do a little bit more, I'll dive in a little bit deeper, and I'll download a fresh copy of the 320 without the Matavia mod, and I'll take a look around at the textures, and then I'll use my one with the Matavia mod. Maybe that has some issue with it, I don't know. But I can almost guarantee you I do not remember the lower textures being that blurry, especially on the McDo panel and the keys. Do I use standard views? Yes, I do, boy. It's I'm just using the X-Plane default camera system. And you do the left control numpad to set it up to save a view, and you can switch back and forth. So I am using all default X-Plane camera views, my friend. Cyrus Martin, what's up, man? Good to see you on board. Cargo or airline pilot, what's better? Well, a cargo, you're always going to have boxes to fly around, but you're going to be the first one to be replaced by an autopilot or a single pilot operation, so just pick your poison. Watch your speed brakes. Are my speed brakes out? My spoid brakes. Oh, they are out. Good catch there, man. Good catch. Alright, we're far enough back. Let's go ahead and turn engine 1. We got bleed pressure. Turning 1. I'll let you guys listen to BSS startup here. Pretty good. Pretty good. Love BSS. I know it's a CFM sound pack. I don't think he has an IAE pack for the 320. At least I couldn't find one. What scenery and weather do I use? This is Vertical Sim New Orleans, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite airports. I love this Vertical Sim New Orleans that he has.
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
And weather right now, you are looking at purely default X-Plane weather, man. I don't have X Enviro on because I'm just doing a flight factor test, essentially, right? Let's go ahead and spin engine 2. So default weather is what you're looking at, but this is Vertical Sim New Orleans. He makes some great airports, man. Vertical Sim, he's got some fantastic airports out there. Simone Thomas says, honestly, until Matavia updates the mod to be compatible with Vulkan, I will install the wing texture for the lights. There's no problem. Oh, Simone Thomas, that's a very good point too. Is I'm not running Vulkan, so maybe if you're running Vulkan, the Matavia mod's giving you issues as well. I am running OpenGL. I'm not running Vulkan.
And we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the left. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
All right, good start on 2. Thanks, sir. Thanks for a smooth push. We'll see you next time. That's up. Let's listen to the flaps coming out here. Oh yeah. Yeah, thanks, Card. I didn't think there was an IAE pack for the 320, for BSS anyway. Do love that flap deployment there. I gotta say, there are some things about this airplane that I still enjoy. We'll go ahead and kill both of those. It's a short taxi out. Let's do everything here at the gate. Alright, flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudders. Full left. Oh, almost full right. That's because I have a massive curve on there. We'll say it's full left, full right. Oh, for VATSIM purposes here, squawk 2 thou. And we're going to turn this on TARA just for VATSIM purposes. Everything else is ready to go. You guys ready to go? Park brake off. Taxi light on. Here we go. God, that looks sweet, huh? Those sounds. Apologize for the ears there. Any reason why you're not running Vulkan? OpenGL is stable, is more stable on my card from what I found, man. Just on my 1070. I found it to be more stable, that's all. Redo the takeoff config check there, and then we have to do this flight attendant panel thing over here. Cabin ready. There we go. Alright, we should be good to go. A little bit loud, I apologize. We'll go ahead and turn it down a little bit so we don't destroy the eardrums. Am I using the new Airbus stick? Benny, no I'm not, man. I'm still using the Thrustmaster Warthog. Warthog. Thrustmaster Warthog, my friend. I don't know which direction I'm going to go for peripherals. Before I get any stick, I will tell you, though, I will be getting rudder pedals. I will be getting a set of rudder pedals before I get any new flight control. Whether it be a yoke or... I'm not going to get a new yoke. The honeycomb is totally fine. Love my Warthog. Only thing that's on my radar right now is the Bravo throttle quadrant. That's on my radar. I mean, those wing textures, though, are pretty juicy as we go off into the dirt here. Let's go ahead. We'll set it straight so we can relax and look out the window here for a minute as we taxi down to 1-1. BSS Soundpack doing their flight attendant thing. Alright, we're going to taxi to 1-1 via Gulf. Actually, you know what? We'll cross here at Charlie, and then we'll taxi full length via Echo. So we'll cross here at Charlie and go via Echo all the way full length. I think in real life they cross you down here, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've been to New Orleans. Coaster says, I heard with Vulcan you have to have AMD card to notice any difference. Yeah, so I know it varies. Like Dougal said, it seems to be really inconsistent just depending on your specific rig. You know, my specific rig, I'm happy with how, I shouldn't say this, but with how stable, knock on wood, OpenGL has been. So, and actually it has to do with the graphics driver. My current driver for my NVIDIA card is not even capable of Vulcan, so I'm running an older driver as well. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the lights here as we cross. We'll leave the strobes off because I don't want it to trigger the announcements. I love this shot right here. Ground level, idle by, I love it. What's the outside air temp? Plus 22? That's crazy. What recommendations do you have for someone starting flight training? Man, just be prepared to grind, man. Be prepared to grind, especially early on. You know, it's probably gonna be a little bit more challenging than you expect, especially right out of the gate. It may not seem as glamorous right out of the gate, and you may seem like you have insurmountable hurdles to overcome, but if you just put your nose to the grindstone, man, if it's something you're passionate about, it's not going to be an issue. You know, and some people, you know, sometimes they go through their PPL and realize that that's all they want. You know, they don't need to go any further, but it can definitely be a grind. But if you're passionate about it, man, you're going to have no problems at all. Just be prepared to work hard. Whatever you put, the effort that you put in to this, I don't want to say industry, but to this profession, what effort you put in, you will get out of it. And that starts from your private pilot training even. The more effort you put into your private pilot, the more you're going to get out of it. And that's going to continue on with any rating you do, whether it be your instrument, commercial, ATP. you will get a return for the effort that you put forth. I love this airport, man. Look at the lights and the grass, and I'm swerving all over the taxiway. Dougal says, I love the dirty streaks, but then I like dirty birds. I'm with you, Dougal. I'm with you, man. Do a flight after from Tampa? Nah, man. If I didn't have things to do, I would, but I gotta go ahead and prepare for a deep freeze this weekend. I mean, it's gonna be 0 Fahrenheit. What is that Celsius? I gotta look it up here real quick on my phone. 0, I should know this. 0 Fahrenheit is minus 17 C. So for everybody else that's not an American, it's going to be minus 17 C in Texas, which is not normal. I am not prepared for such temperatures. Look at the airplane starting to roll away from me here. It's pretty realistic. 20 knots, we're good. And one smooth brake application here, slow it down. Man, this airport is awesome. Just the taxiway textures, the volumetric grass. How are we doing? Our frames are doing our 30 FPS away from the terminal while streaming. So without streaming, probably 38 FPS. That's pretty good. All right, nobody's on final. Northern's traffic, Spear Wings. Oh, we're not even on the Unicom. Let's go ahead and stop here real quick. Just to make sure. There we go. Northern's traffic, Spear Wings 813. We'll be departing runway 11 out to the west. New Orleans. All right, here we go. Let's light them up and get out of here. Libyan Pilot, what's going on, man? Welcome aboard. Welcome to the stream, dude. Just get ready for takeoff. Just in time. $50 Max says I just joined this, or I just liked the stream. Awesome. We got 100 likes before takeoff. I like it. We got 237 watching. Maybe we can bump those likes up here for this yoga. I see some yoga power here. Full-blown BSS. This is your warning if you're a headphone user. Use caution for the flyby sound shortly after rotation, because we are going maximum. I love this view here, but it's so hard to do a proper lineup from the window view. But I love this shot right here, the threshold going under the engine. Man, that's amazing. How'd I do? I overshot it a tad. Alright, we'll go ahead and stop here. That's good, actually. We're going to go yoga from the wing view. Here we go. Spool it up 50%. You ready? Yoga! Amazing. Toga SRS runway. Auto thrust is blue. 80 knots. Thrust set. V1, rotate. Positive rate. You're up. Fly by. Oh, we're already in the clouds. Dang it. So this actually has a little nav turn here, which wouldn't be there. I probably should have pulled the heading there. We'll go ahead and fly it. Thrust, climb, auto thrust. What's the temps up here? Still pretty warm. Flap 0. After takeoff, check. disarm the speed brakes. There we go. Keep coming around. Here we go. Travis says I could listen to that all day. You and me both, man. You and me both. She does fly nice. In between layers here. Should be getting pretty cold pretty soon, I would imagine. We're 21 still. This cool shot here, in between layers. You see anything out the window? Nope. A little bit. I think the airport's right down there. Or maybe over there. But with the Matavia windows, I mean, it really looks like you're in the cabin right now. In between layers for sure. Oh, watch that speed there. All the way around. Yo, we're going to redirect it here. Let's do this. Let's go fly direct to Alexandria. Insert. Nav. Autopilot 1 is on. Oh, 256 is selected. Should be 250. Thrust climb. Nav. Autopilot 1. We're getting ready to pop through the cloud layer here. We'll pop out on top here in the wing view. See what happens. Simone Tumba, have I seen the tweet about the fix info page? Yes, I have. I have. Finally, only a couple years late, right? What weather am I using? Golden State, believe it or not, man, you're looking at default weather right now. Absolutely default. And there she is, out on top. Nothing to it. Out on top, just like that. Beautiful day up here. JetBlue says, improvements, some performance optimization. Panel hotkeys are now optional in EFB fixes. There you go. Yeah, some performance optimization. I will tell you, we're at 29, 30 FPS here with all these clouds, so those clouds look pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm digging this view right now. This looks pretty darn juicy. Does this not look juicy? I feel like we need to lower the nose. I think we're at 10,000 feet. We'll keep it going here for a minute. This looks awesome. Oh yeah, we're way out of 10. Let's go ahead and manage the speed. We'll let her accelerate. Go ahead and kill the lights. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I don't know which wing do I like better. I kind of like this one. I mean, that is straight juice right there. Yeah, I'm using live weather. You got it. Live weather. Default weather, but it is live weather. Have I ever thought about flying in Libya on stream? Ooh, I have great custom scenery for Tripoli and Benghazi. Benghazi made by you. Okay. We have not been down to Libya yet. We will be doing another tour. So one thing that I loved about last year and one thing that I thought was pretty unique to this channel is we kind of stay close to home during our normal streams, but when we hit, it was 7,000 subs, we did our Euro tour where we did a in real-time flight all the way to Europe, flew into London City, and then we spent the next couple months, pretty much the whole summer, flying the Euro tour. And then once we hit our 10K sub, we did our Concorde back to JFK. I think that was probably the highlight of this channel, I think, in my opinion, still was the 10K sub special in the Concorde, even though this is an Airbus channel. That Concorde flight we did from Heathrow to JFK was absolutely fantastic, and it was in HD. We had the supersonic Mach flush, but I've got something special tentatively planned in the back of my mind for 20K subs. So when we get there, we are going to be doing another tour, but we just got to hit it. So if you like this kind of content, this would be a good time to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's interesting enough, I've noticed about 53% of viewers aren't even subscribed to the channel yet. So if you guys like this kind of stuff, I know it's not 1080p yet, but it will be. I'm just waiting on Starlink. We used to be full-blown 1080p. I really miss my gigabit internet, that's for sure. But once Starlink is available, it will happen, and it will be able to handle a 1080p stream, no doubt. Just going to have to be patient. The Flying Banana. You got it, Travis. I like airplanes that aren't all white. There's a few that I do like. Of course, I like Pan Am. But I just think white is kind of a cop-out livery. You know, I like airplanes that paint the entire fuselage. There's some cool ones in Europe that I'm coming to like. The Jet 2, I think Jet 2 was a super cool livery. That all gray with the red flare. I really like that livery, especially on the 757. Brian, I would like to see San Diego to Portland. That's an idea. I got Orbix all up and down that. We might head back over to the West Coast. I don't know, in all honesty, guys, I don't know how the stream schedule is going to work for the next few days. The weather is going to be absolutely insane up here. I'm working on some pre-recorded content for you guys, so I will try to upload some videos. I cannot guarantee you a steady stream schedule here for the next few days. So if you aren't already, hit the notification button on this for your YouTube, for this channel, the little bell icon there, bottom right, because sometimes, like today, I really got to change the time of a stream, or I just throw up a stream last minute, and if you don't have the notifications on, you won't even know that I'm going live, so unless you're in the Discord. JetBlue says, my Wi-Fi is so bad I can't even get 500 kilobits. Wish I could stream. Oh man, any tips you have to stream with bad Wi-Fi? So JetBlue, it depends, man. I'm learning a lot about Wi-Fi and streaming capabilities, and there's more to it than just speeds. You know, in theory, I should have the speeds, but my problem is frame drop, and that comes from a wireless connection. Now, I have a hardwired connection from my PC to the router, but out here where I live, I got to go from, you know, the router goes to a satellite dish or a satellite dish on the roof. It's not a satellite, it's a radio dish. It goes to a tower across the lake, but that's where you get dropped frames. So it's very finicky, man. I would you got to play around with your bit rate. I don't know what your speeds are for uploading, but play around with your bit rate. From my experience, if you want a smooth 1080p stream, there we go. We're out of the chop there. What's the temperature? +1. Let's go ahead and get our anti-ice on. If you want a smooth 1080p stream, you're going to need a consistent, probably 5 to 7 up if you want a consistently smooth 1080p stream. And I have 10 up, but I can't maintain that consistently. You're only going to get about probably 65% of that. So it's a challenge, man, but hopefully Elon Musk has got a plan for all of us. Southwest or Spirit livery? I do like the Southwest livery. I like the old school Southwest, the brown one. What are the real changes on this update, Benito? So, actually, we're hitting some rain right now. We do have our anti-ice on. Weather radar, is it working? It seems to be working. Let's turn the calibration up. Drop it down a tad. Let's see if that changes anything here. It looked like it was picking up some weather there, believe it or not. So they said performance updates, man, is the big one. So flying in default clouds, getting 30 FPS while streaming is actually not all that bad. I'm kind of happy with that. I think the normal would be probably mid-20s for me, so I'm seeing a slight improvement here. I'm sure if I went cavote conditions and cleared out all this weather, I'm sure it would be probably another 10 frames. I know default clouds do impact me pretty good. All right, here we go. We're 22.5, climbing to 30. Are we going to be too heavy for this? Let's see here. Maybe I should have checked this out. Optimum is 381, so no, we should be fine. Let's look up, or let's put DFW here. But yeah, see these keys, I'm telling you, they were not this blurry before. They were not this blurry before. Jeremy said that's why I always like the Southwest liveries. There you go. Look at that, in the rain right now. Could you not get a bigger dish? Ranger Moore, I don't think that's really the issue. So my issue is with the frame drop is the tower that we have is oversaturated right now. So the more people that are on the tower, the more problems I have with the packet loss and frame drop. So that's why I stream at some really random times, because I'm trying to find a niche time when people aren't home. And if you've noticed, any time where we've had problems with the stream, it tends to be around those peak times, like evening on a Friday or weekend streams when everybody's home and that tower is just oversaturated with connections. So, you know, the Starlink supposedly won't have that issue, but who knows by the time it gets here. I'm already subscribed. I'm waiting. I've sent emails. I've signed up 3 different email accounts pretty much on it. I got my wife signed up on it. So when it is available in our area, we are not going to miss it. I promise you. It is pretty expensive, $500 dish just to get started, but it's worth it for you guys. It's worth it for this channel, and we're gonna do it. We're just waiting. Nevada Rock says, when doing a manual approach, why does Airbus recommend leaving the auto throttle on or auto thrust on when it's easier to pitch with power while in landing config? So Nevada Rock. So the reason behind the recommendation, that's true and a not true statement. So Airbus, it actually recommends that in severe wind or in severe gust conditions, and I think by definition it says when thrust changes become excessive, disengage auto thrust and use manual thrust. That's simply when the auto thrust cannot keep up anymore with the amount of changes that you're getting. But in less severe conditions, you're correct. It says consider use of auto thrust. And the reason, whoa, nice weather reload there. And the reason for that is ground speed mini. So well, no, that would be managed speed, but the auto thrust and ground speed mini work together very well, except when you reach a threshold of, I want to say, from experience, probably gusting 20. When you have a 20 knot gust factor, so let's say it's, 350 at 5 gusting to 20 or gusting to 18. So when you have a gust factor in that 15 knot to 20 knot range, then the airplane does lack, in my opinion, the speed to keep up with those thrust changes. You'll see what is exactly depicted in the book as excessive thrust changes. You'll see the thrust come all the way back, and then you'll see it go all the way forward. And it's trying to maintain that managed speed target of ground speed mini, which it can do a pretty good job up till about that 15 to 20 knot gust factor, where then sometimes it is beneficial to actually turn it off, because you can feel, as a pilot in the cockpit, you can kind of feel the energy either dissipating, or let's say you're going into a gust, so you can feel the energy building, and then we know as pilots, okay, where it's building energy right now, we're getting performance, we're gaining performance, we know we're going to lose it when you come out the back side. So instead of waiting for the auto thrust to realize that, you can preemptively kind of keep that power in, because if you had the auto thrust in, what's going to happen is when you start going into that gust of headwind, the auto thrust is going to come all the way back, and it's going to maintain that speed target, but it doesn't know that you're going to lose that when you come out the backside of that gust. So it's going to wait until you actually do come out the backside of that gust, and you do start to lose speed, and your energy starts to get a little bit low, and then the thrust comes way up, and it comes way up fast, and that's when you start to get that kind of that seesaw effect. And if you're a passenger in the back, you may hear that, and then you may hear the thrust just come up really quick all the way. So to avoid that, by turning the auto thrust off, you can preemptively anticipate those thrust changes from experience and being in the cockpit and knowing where you're going to be as far as energy is concerned. So it works both ways, man. Anything less than a 15 knot gust, I will say the auto thrust is pretty good, but there are definitely times, especially when you're heavy, that I feel when it's hot and heavy or extremely light. When you're extremely light, and a 319 is notorious for this, if you have a very light 319 and it's very hot, your VAP speed is very low. And I've actually seen alpha floor triggered on approach with the auto thrust on because it just couldn't keep up. Coming into DFW, right over the lake, just got really bad, and I saw it coming. I was like, here we go. Alpha floor kicked in, go around, Toga, boom, come back around for another approach. And there was really no danger of the airplane stalling, but it was just, we know the alpha floor from our systems discussions, we know alpha floor is predictive, right? It anticipates that you're going to be in a high AOA situation. So when you're super light in a 319, and it can happen in the 320 or 321 as well, but I know that the 319 is notorious for this. When you're super light, you have that really low VAP speed, and you get those gusts, you can trigger alpha floor. So in that case, I'll either bump up my VAP speed manually in the MCDU, or I will take control of the auto thrust and kind of keep my thrust up instead of letting it come back to idle and really focus on that speed. Sometimes you just have to keep your thrust at a higher constant than moving it back to idle, then moving it forward, then moving it back to idle. You shouldn't even really come to idle if you can help it when you're on approach anyway. What cloud textures do I normally use? I used to use Active Sky for a long time. Recently I've got into the X Enviro game. I do like X Enviro. It is pretty brutal on frames. You can see here now as the clouds have cleaned out with 32 FPS. I can tell you right now, if I activated X Enviro on stream, we'd drop down to 20 FPS probably. But when I'm not streaming, I do enjoy flying with X Enviro. It's your one-stop shop for colors and textures. I think it's awesome, but it is a huge performance impact. David Lance up, take it easy, man. XVLP says, why is the 321 so hard to lower approach speed when descending at anything more than 1,000 feet per minute? So the 321 especially, but I think actually the 320 in real life is almost the more slippery airplane of the three, because you don't have that full speed brake deflection here on the 320 as you do on the 321 and 319 unless you turn off the autopilot. But a good rule of thumb, XV, is if you are fast, you need to slow down first before trying to descend, because you're right, about 1,000 feet per minute, and if you're trying to slow down and descend faster than 1,000 feet, it's not really going to work. So what I'll do is I'll use that vertical speed 1,000, because that's kind of the cutoff. Whereas if I got speed brakes out, vertical speed 1,000, I can slow the airplane down and go down. But if I had if it was in an open descent, or no, I shouldn't say open descent. If it was in 15, or if it's on a managed descent and it's trying to descend at 1,800 feet per minute, you're not going to be able to slow down. So always try in the Airbus to slow down before you need to go down. But that is a tip I will say, and it does work in the airplane too, in X-plane, and all three of them, is if you select vertical speed 1,000, get your speed brakes out and dial your speed back manually, select speed and dial it back, then you will be able to slow down and go down a little bit at that vertical speed. If you want, you can even do vertical speed 500. Sometimes I use 500. It just kind of depends on the weight of the aircraft and how much you're actually trying to slow down. But the Airbus is a slippery airplane. It does benefit you to slow down before initiating any type of descent. Especially winds. Winds will impact you as well. If you have a tailwind, even in real life, man, if you have a tailwind 20, 30, 40 plus knots tailwind and you're on a VNAV arrival and the airplane wants to slow, it just does a terrible job at slowing down on a VNAV with a tailwind. I don't know why, just the design of the airplane, but it does not like to slow down. Come over here to this wing view for a little bit. Matthew Flip says, just be glad you're not at DFW today. Matthew, I'm north of DFW, man. It's worse. Let me check the outside air temp. It's actually going to warm up today, which is good. It's 24 degrees Fahrenheit. That's awesome. So I'm hoping it warms up a little bit because I got to run to the store. I got to get some more gas. I got to get some more power packs for a couple items in the house. But we are preparing for a 0 degrees Fahrenheit weekend here, a complete deep freeze of North Texas. Any tips when flaring, especially for those butter landings? Real life or X-plane, man, two totally different things. If you want to butter an X-plane, you can pretty much just stare at your VSI, but that's not the proper way to land. And in real life, you don't even look at your VSI. You don't even look at your instruments when landing in real life. You should be looking at the horizon line. I have a video beating the odds on my channel. It says landing the Airbus. What is it? Approaches, and I did a stream where we flew the 319, 320, and 321 all in one stream, just doing landings. I think it's traffic pattern work or something. Just search for that one on my channel, and I go over real life techniques and some sim techniques for landing the airplane when coming down. So that would be my best answer for you. Is it normal for you to fly the 319 one day and the next you may be in the 321? Yep, same day even, man. Travis, it's normal to fly. It's possible you fly all three airplanes in the same day, just depending on how your schedule is set up. on the engine page, what does NAC mean? NAC? Nacelle? Let me see. Engine page. Actually, while we're up here, we're out of the ice. We'll go ahead and turn our engine anti-ice off. We'll go ahead and turn this overhead light off. We don't need you anymore. You know what? It seems to get sharp. Maybe it's this light. I think that's what it is. These integral lights seem to make it fuzzy. Let me turn off all the integral lighting here. Now let me look at the McDo. Yeah, see, this looks sharper now. The keys, anyway. Without the lights. Let me turn them. Let me see. I think it is something to do with the lights. Pancake King 78 coming in with a $5 bomb. Thank you, dude, for your support on the channel, man. Thank you so much for that. He says it was -9 earlier this week up here in Chicago. Make sure you bundle up, dude. That is wicked cold. I don't think we're supposed to get to -9, but I will definitely be bundled up, man. Thank you for the $5 donation. I really appreciate that, dude. I hope you stay thawed out up there in Chicago. For sure, man. Definitely cold up there. Alright, so you said on the engine page, NAC? I don't see anything that says NAC. The only thing I could think that says NAC would be like NAC tanks or nacelle tanks on the King area. Yeah, I don't see anything that says NAC, man. I don't quite understand your question. I'm not saying that it doesn't. I'm just not fully understanding the question or the context maybe I'm missing. Alright, let's see what we got here. We'll get rid of these charts here. Get rid of MSY. Refresh DFW. 3021. Freezing drizzle. Ugh. That's an interesting one. Freezing drizzle. Ended 23 minutes past the hour. It's kind of cut off there. Overcast 900. Alright. Let's start setting up for the approach here because we're not that far out. We're going to go ahead and get our LS push buttons on. We're going to come down. We'll pop you out, put you into plan mode. Come down here. I'll make this ND a little bit bigger so we can see what's going on. Let's start going over a little bit of this. We are going to be landing 3-5 center. Pretty sure I know it all by memory, but it's not a good habit to do. So ILS 3-5 center. You want to do an auto land? Let's see how this sucker auto lands. You guys want to set up for an auto land? Let me know in chat if you want to set up for an auto land. While you respond, I'm going to go ahead and load up the arrival here. We are on the Whiny. Is Whiny North Flow? I don't know if it is. No, Whiny is South Flow. No, it is North Flow. That works. That works. Cool. Okay, so Peanuts. We're out here at the bottom of the transition. Orko, Popsy, Berry. That's all in there. Howdy, 12. Bottoms out at Hills. So one thing that I am working on, guys, that will be coming at you very shortly, is a full-blown chart video series where we're going to look at arrival charts, departure charts, taxi diagrams, and we're going to look at all the symbology on them. And hopefully, you know, it's taken a long time to edit, but I'll probably start releasing them when I have maybe 3 episodes completely done. Then I'll start releasing them one at a time so I kind of stay ahead. But we are going to be doing, I'm going to be going over, I know a lot of you guys ask me certain symbols on a chart, like, you know, what is this 2000T here or the 4000? So we'll be going over all that, and it'll be all neatly organized for you on a little video series playlist here on the channel. So if that's something that you're looking forward to, make sure you are sticking around. All right, so this arrival bottoms out at Hills, 6,000 feet, 230 knots. That looks good. You think my bar at the top shows the wrong destination? Oh, yeah, it does. Wow. There we go. Hopefully. Thanks, man. It should update here for you momentarily. Definitely shows the wrong one. Good catch. Yes, auto land, sure. It makes it more interesting. All right, we'll set up for a proper auto land here. All right, so we know hills, bottoms out 6,230 knots. That looks good. For the arrival, we're going to do ILS 35 center. So, for a proper auto land, there's a couple things we got to do differently. Not a lot, but in real life, we do, we call it build it, brief it, book it. And the book it stage, you would actually pull up your company procedures and make sure you've got all the required equipment, required lighting, visibility, make sure it is totally legal to do the approach, of course, and to make sure, you know, that everybody's on the same page. Because it's an auto land, the captain will then take control of the aircraft, so I'd be flying. If the first officer is flying, you do a transfer of flight controls prior to top of descent, probably, because at that point, you know, the approach is either going to terminate in an auto land or a go around. Those are your two options. So the first officer has his specific duties and call outs. Captain has his specific duties and call outs when it comes to an auto land. Let's see. So ILS Cat 35 center. Can we do it at Cat 3 on 35 center? Yes, we can. Cat 2 and Cat 3, ILS 35 center. And we have it built out to days. I'm going to bring it out to Rama all the way out, so we have the full approach here. So that's one thing that I like to do. That's the first step that I like to do when I'm setting up for an auto land. I know that I'm going to be probably vectored on at some point, but I want to have all of the fixes in there, even if I don't need them, because I can delete them. It's easier to delete them than to be vectored to a fix when you don't have it, anticipating an auto land and not being able to do it. So that's in there. And I got to redirect this here. I'm going to redirect this because I think that changed. Let's just go direct clues. Insert that. I hear the triple chirp there. So we should be going back direct now. Go direct clues. Insert. There we go. Come on. There we go. There, we're back in nav mode. There we go. All right, so we built the approach all the way out from Ramo, Tuffo, Jobs, 35 center. Next thing, we're going to come down here. Cat 3, Cat 3B, 600 RVR minimum. Cat 3A, 700 RVR. Then you have objects. This whole thing. Why are we incapable of tracking nav? What is going on here? What's going on with the airplane? Alright, we're out cruise nav, and we've got distance to destination, so everything looks fine there. Alright, I don't know what is giving me an issue there, but anytime you hear that triple click or triple chirp, call that a reversion tone. That means you've reverted to a lower level of navigation. So I went from nav to heading mode. That's why you heard chirp, chirp, chirp. Anytime you hear chirp, 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 that should be attention that you look at your FMA, make sure you know what's going on. All right, so that's set in there. RadNav page, we are going to hard tune something for that. We're going to go ahead and hard tune, what's our mist here? For 3.5, that's the alternate Bossy off Maverick VOR. So I'm going to hard tune Maverick, which is TTT. Maverick is hard tuned on my side. Prog page, we're going to set up DFW, 3.5 center. Perf data, next page, descent, let's do 0.78 and 320 on the speed so we're not totally screaming down. Environmental conditions, last that we checked it was 3021. Temperature of -4. Ugh. Magnetic wind is 350 at 1.5. So we do have a new set of wind limitations. 3-5 center, that's pretty much right down the pipe, so that's a headwind. We don't have a problem with that. Your crosswind components are going to change, or tailwind components will change, and that will all vary depending on what airplane you're in, whether it's a 320 Neo or 321 Neo, whatever it is. So for us, though, 320 standard CEO 350 at 1.5, that's right down the pipe. That's not going to affect any of our auto land limitations. As far as minimums, so like I said, this approach is going to terminate in either an auto land or a go around. So we're not going to have any minimum. So we're going to put no in the DH box. That's just a signification to the flight crew that, hey, there's no minima. The airplane is going to land it. Either that or it's going to go around. We are config full. VAP is 134. 15 knots right down the pipe. I'm going to leave it at 134. That should be fine. VLS is 129. Here's our clean retract speed, so that's all good. Fuel, we got an hour 30. Plenty of extra gas. Secondary, I'll go ahead and copy the active just in case I screw something up. And we'll go ahead and send for perf data number. So everything else looks good there. How are we till top of descent? About 88 miles. Alright, since it is an auto land, we are going to use auto brakes low. We'll do full reverse for cinematic purposes, but in real life you'd probably do idle reverse here with low brakes. Alright, so let's do a quick briefing here of the approach. Are we within 250? We are. Well, that should be populated. So this should be populated here already, but we'll go ahead and brief it anyway. Since it is a Cat 3, we're going to fully brief the approach. We've got chart 61-16 alpha. That's effective 18th September. Localizer 110.3, auto-tuned, IPKQ, final approach course, 356 degrees. We check it on the glass here. We're verifying the chart with the glass. Glide slope intercept altitude at jobs is 2,100 feet. Refer to minimums. We've already set no DH, so minimums are going to be no. This approach is going to terminate at an auto land or a go around. If you're restricted to Cat 2, you got a rad out there of 100 feet, and then you got company op specs on top of that. So for us, no DH is set. Airport elevation is 607. Our touchdown is 563. The highest sector altitude or safe altitude around DFW is 3,600 feet to the south off the Maverick VOR TTT. That's why I have that hard tuned. Special air crew and aircraft certification required. We are certified and we are special air crew. DME or radar required. We got both of those. Everything should be good there. Landing on runway 35 center. We have PAPIs on the left. We have an ALSIF 2 approach light system. If we have to go missed, it'll be the published missed approach procedure. We're going to climb straight out 3,000, intercept the Maverick 356 radial to Bossy intersection and hold. In the missed approach, we will climb to 3,000. That'll be our final holding altitude, or as assigned by air traffic control. Then we'll come back to the 10.9 page here. We'll brief the actual runway and taxi environment. Let's see here. So if the RVR was less than... Do we have a low vis here? No, we don't. Interesting. All right, so... Landing on runway 35 center. We've got 13,400 feet available for landing. We'll plan to make the left turnoff here at Mike 1 or the 90 at Echo Kilo. If not, we can take Echo Juliet or whatever. I'm not too worried about it, but we know we're going to make a left turn off the runway here. One thing we do want to brief is we have one runway to cross before we go to the terminal. So make sure we hold short of 35 left. We'll then be assigned something down here to the Echo gates here, where Spirit Park. So we'll probably come off of 35 center, Echo Kilo, Mike 1, whatever it is. They'll take Kilo or Echo all the way down, and we'll enter the ramp 48 or 49 and park over here at Terminal E. As far as the aircraft setup, we're in an A320 for tail strike avoidance. We're planning on landing flaps full, auto brakes low, full reverse. And that's all I got. Any questions? Nope. No questions? All right. Approach briefing is complete. Bottom altitude for the arrival. One last thing here I wanted to look at is hills at 6,000. So we'll simulate. ATC came on and said Spirit Wings, what are we? Spirit Wings 813, descend via the Whiny 4 arrival. Altimeter 30, whatever it was. So descend via, we know the bottom hills was 6,000, so I'm going to spin 6,000 feet here in the altitude window as it matches hills. And we're just waiting for our top of descent, which is still a good 60 miles or so out. So everything looks good. Airplane is set up. How about a flyby view? Oh yeah. What I'll do now is I'm going to go ahead and turn down the sound outside. We'll turn it all the way down like 25%. Rip it around. We'll enjoy our banana wings for a little bit. We've been inside too much. Let's go ahead and enjoy this exterior view for a little bit. Spider! What's up, man? He says, have you won? Damn, I guess I'll have to catch the replay like always. Spider, no worries, man. You're on. You're welcome aboard, dude. We are approaching our top of descent still. We're still a little ways out. About 40 miles to top of descent. We're going to do a Cat 3 auto land approach here into Dallas-Fort Worth. So we just set up the airplane. We're set up for the Cat 3. We verified all the information on the approach chart with the glass in the cockpit itself. It's very important that you do that and that you're not just reading your approach chart. So when you guys are doing this in the sim, you know, don't just look at all this information here. Make sure you verify it with the aircraft itself. So, you know, I verified the course on my PFD. I verified the localizer frequency. You want to make sure you're verifying everything on the glass. That way you don't have a mistake when you get down low. Because once you get down into the approach environment, especially if it's a true Cat 3 operation, you don't have time to be messing around and checking other things. So prior preparation prevents piss poor performance. Alright. I'll get back to the chat there. I was kind of ignoring you guys in that setup. Yeah, stream overlay had Tampa. It should be fixed now, right? It should say DFW. Don't come to DFW, too cold today. Hey, I know, man. I live north of the airport. This is my home airport right here. My territory up here in DFW. And it is too cold. Terminal D and A at DFW is superb. The other three, not so much. Travis, I agree. The international terminal at Dallas is pretty spot on, man. I like that terminal a lot. But everything else is kind of outdated. You know, DFW with that circular terminal idea, I think that's an older idea. I know Kansas City is the same way. But Orlando's kind of got that circular terminal thing going on. But yeah, the D terminal. And actually, I'm sad that they stopped building the new terminal there at DFW since COVID hit, but they were building a whole nother terminal there just to the north, just to the south of Terminal D on the west side. But that's all been halted now because of COVID, unfortunately. Watching me at work? Nice, man. I guess I can unpin this message up here. Will Morgan says this is incredibly informative. Thank you, man. That's what I'm here for. I like to keep this a learning channel if possible. Yeah, this is not Tampa. No, it should be. It should say DFW now. Is there a payware scenery for Toncontin? It's not a. Wasn't a payware. I had a friend make that scenery, and he handed it to me. So that's where that scenery came from. Have I seen the new MCI though? It's going to be beautiful. Travis, I've seen the plans. I do look forward to it. I think MCI is probably one of the most is an airport that is on the most needed update list for sure in the US. MCI is definitely outgrown, at least pre-COVID, it's outgrown its capacity and original design for sure. Watching from school, Jack Mackey. What's going on, man? Welcome aboard, dude. Yeah, so we will be flying into, I believe it's Aerosoft KDFW is the scenery that I have down there. So that'll be a good test for the flight factor. Right now, up at cruise, we're getting 41 FPS, 42 FPS. Not bad. Not bad while streaming. Not bad at all. On the auto land, can you explain the difference, meaning of retard versus manual landing, please? So the difference between retard, so the retard call out is only, it's a call out where the airplane has determined that it has enough energy to successfully land, essentially. So it no longer needs thrust. But that's, you know, it's more so of a command than a suggestion, but depending on who you ask, sometimes if you wait a second or two, you could get a smoother landing. It just kind of, it all depends on the situation that you're in. But a manual landing, if the auto thrust is off, you're not going to get a retard call out. Yellow Spirit looks good. I think so too, man. I like this dirty livery. I like dirty airplanes. I like dirty airplanes. Does the magnetic anomaly around 3.5 affect the Airbus? I fly the CRJ. We have to correct for it. IFR soup. Honestly, no. That's the first I've heard of a magnetic anomaly on 3.5. At least officially. I don't know. Is there? Enlighten me a little bit more. Maybe I'll trigger something. But as far as something that we have to correct for, I'm not really aware of anything specifically we need to correct for at 3.5. DCB, what is up, man? Welcome to the stream, dude. He says, nice to actually catch a live stream, which means I also will not be getting much work done. DCB, well, have no worries, man. We're about 2/3 of the way there. We're about to start down here pretty soon. Spider, yes, this is the new updated Flight Factor 320. Rocking right around 40 FPS up here at cruise while streaming, so I'm happy with that. In overcast conditions. So I can tell you if I shut off the stream and I went cab out conditions, we'd probably be getting 50 plus FPS. I would make that would probably be an accurate statement. So it definitely has improved, but I seem to lose frames when I look at the screens up front. I wonder, but I'm thinking that might be a Matavia issue. Jump and Run says, what does the bottom center of the Yikes Ecam cruise page show me? Can't figure it out. The Yikes, that reminds me of my Embraer training, man. So the bottom, what did you say here? The bottom center, oh, this is your UTC time. It's 17:11 UTC. There you go. So I got a pop quiz question for you guys. Curious if any of you will get this one. So this ISA temperature here, which is standard, right? ISA. This is not always depicted